Thank you very much. Have you seen a scene like this before? I was sitting waiting for my wife from a dentist appointment outside a mall where Tim Hortons was. 3 Tim Hortons staff members left in rapid succession. The first person to leave walked past the empty cup on the floor beside the garbage can. The second person to leave walked past and actually sort of kicked the cup on the ground by the Tim Hortons garbage can. The third staff member to leave came out of the Tim Hortons, looked at the garbage on the ground, picked up the cup, and put it in its rightful place. Now, which of those 3 would you like to have on your team?
Third one.
The third one. That's the right answer. The third one, because they have what's called discretionary effort. And discretionary effort means you go that just a little extra mile. If something needs to be done, you don't mind doing it. In fact, you don't even see it that it needs to be done. So you actually go for it and try to do it for yourself. So that little extra discretionary effort. So I want to talk about employee engagement today. And employee engagement is defined as a heightened emotional connection to the organization whereby you want to do your best with discretionary effort, i.e. you want to go just a little extra piece. Now, where does that research come from? Towers and Perrin. Towers and Perrin conducted a global research study of 88,000 people, middle and lower class, not class, I want to look for. No, it's middle and small businesses and companies and organizations. Middle, small business, thank you though. And 88,000 in 18 countries. And they asked them, how do you feel emotionally, mentally, and spiritually about your work? And what they said was, 21% said we're engaged. We are there, we're ready to go. We show up on time, we love the job we do. We were actually kind of sad, we actually had TBIF. Too bad it's Friday. TBIF. You know you got a good job when you get TBIF. But 41% said they were enrolled. And enrollment is like you're not quite there. Your bum's in the chair, but you're not entirely there. So enrollment is 41% of the global workforce population. The largest study ever done on employee engagement. 41% they're just enrolled. And what they lacked was a little bit of an emotional connection to the organization that they're with. A little bit of emotional connection to the organization. The other stats go like this. Disengaged. Disenchanted, rather, enrolled. Disenchanted, 31%, 30% were disenchanted. They didn't like what was happening around them. They would do the job to the degree of their ability, and they punched the clock and do whatever they had to do, but they gave nothing extra to the company. They didn't even talk much about it on the street afterwards. That's the kind of person when you ask them, how do you like your work? They say, looking for a new job. They're disenchanted. And the manager's nightmare, they're completely and utterly disengaged. The manager's nightmare. Because what do the disengaged folks do? They sabotage wherever they get a chance. Now, have you ever had a client that sabotages the thing? Like you book an appointment for them, they don't show up? Okay, they're just not engaged and enrolled in their career choice and their career passion and their calling for life. So I want to share with you some thoughts and ideas around how do you actually bring folks forward to be deeply, deeply enrolled or engaged in the work that they do and love it. Absolutely love it. What can you do? And I've developed 7 steps, 7 keys rather, to unlock. And what I mean by that, I mean free up, release, let go, the whole notion of the employee engagement. And the unlock thing comes from my experience traveling in Asia. When they train elephants, they train little baby elephants with a cable like a steel cable on their foot. So they're going around the cage and they get so far they go, and then they realize that's the limit. That's as far as they think they can go. So they go over here, and the foot goes, and that's as far as they can go. Once they get that message, they replace the cable with a light cord. Now the cord could be broken, but they feel the tension of that imagination limitation, and they feel the tension of the cord, and they go, oops, better stop because I've been trained to stop. So I think sometimes we train our workforce, we train our people, we train our children to have limits on their imagination, to have limits on who they can be and how far they can go in their life. So I want to talk about that whole notion of actually going far beyond the possibilities to unlock with 7 keys this whole notion of being engaged in life and therefore being engaged in the talent, and what you do with your talent and your time, which of course is what we call work. So it comes from a kind of an odd place. My experience actually comes from being a specialist in violence, which is the ultimate disengagement. I taught for 9 years in the public school system. You know that's a violent place. I wrote a book on healthy relationships that was picked up by Los Angeles County Office of Education, so I work with gangs in Los Angeles. I've been to Northern Ireland 5 times working with the communities and young people and stuff with what they call the post-troubles, like we used to call it the troubles over there. So I work with those folks, so I've seen the brutality of what humans do to each other when they're disengaged. When they're disconnected from themselves, when they're disconnected from other people, and when they're disconnected from the community in which they live. I've seen the brutality of that. And so I thought, you know, preventing stuff all the time is like really kind of tiring, you know? So I want to uplift something. I want to give something life. I want to give something energy and juice and joy, and actually offer something to the world by not looking at the 7 ways you can hit it, you know, use a stick to help. That metaphor totally doesn't work. Use a stick to stop violence. That doesn't work at all. But use the keys to unlock people's potential so they can be the best they can be, and in service to others, be someone that's meaningful and valuable to the community in which they serve.